music.
It's time for an encore.
The show is over.
Why?
We have things to do.
We got things to do right here in bed. What are you doing? Hey, what was that for?
Your future.
My future?
Yeah, not to mention mine.
All I care about is my future in bed with you.
Well, you've had enough for now.
Just get warmed up.
Well, why don't you try warming that creative mind of yours?
That's exactly what I had in mind.
You know what I mean. You've got an act to finish and a new song to write.
Oh, there's plenty of time for that.
Uh-huh. Well, there's plenty of time for this after you're done with that. Now get to
Ow!
Yes, my name is Dr. Tremaine.
What can I do for you, Doctor?
Well, an associate of mine, Dr. Hilary Campbell, called me several days ago to say he was flying down to New York City and would ring me from there. Well, I haven't heard a word from him, and I'm beginning to worry.
Oh, you're not the only one, Doctor.
Why do you say that?
Well, Dr. Campbell's already been reported missing.
Oh, good heavens, I do hope that nothing's happened to him.
I'm sure he'll turn up. Dr. Campbell probably... 1 second, Dr. Tremaine.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Commissioner Scorpio from Fort Charles is on line 3.
Thanks. Tell you what, Dr. Tremaine, why don't you do this? If you haven't heard from Dr. Campbell in the next couple of days, why don't you give us a call? We may know something more by then, okay?
Yes, I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Commissioner Scorpio.
That's right. And you are?
Detective James.
And you're in charge of the Campbell investigation?
That I am. What can I do for you, Commissioner?
I'd like to fly down to New York City this morning and talk to the man that you picked up with Campbell's watch.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there'd be no problem. Any relevant information for us?
No, but I do have an interest in Campbell's itinerary. He started out his travels here in my jurisdiction. Now, I'm in touch with his London superior, and there's a lot of concern at that end.
Well, not much you can tell him at this point.
No sign of Campbell yet?
Not a trace. Not a trace. If the man was looking to disappear, he's done a pretty fair job of it so far.
I just want to make sure that it was his idea.
I hate a woman that jumps out of bed and immediately starts going to work.
Even if she's your manager?
Yeah, what are you doing anyway?
I'm making a list of all the things we have to do before we can leave.
Do the list later. Let's go back to bed.
I'm doing this for you, you know.
Make love, not lists.
Do you want the gig in Atlantic City to go off without a hitch, or would you rather mess around in bed?
Yes.
You know, we're not going to be doing either unless you get to work and let me do the same.
Skip the work. Come on. Relax.
You think this is some kind of a game? You think that just because you have a hit single, you can just sort of kick back and enjoy yourself? You know, it doesn't work that way. The hard part has just begun.
You're a real comedian. You're a real comedian. You know that? Hard part. What's the hard part? I mean, I'm the one that's in charge here now. Why does everyone tell me what to do all the time?
Maybe it's because they're trying to be helpful. Or maybe it's because they care about you. Or maybe they think that you couldn't find the front door unless there was someone to point you in the right direction and then open it for you.
Real funny. You're real funny this morning. Why don't you go on the road with us and open up for us?
I have a flash for you. We're not going anywhere unless you let me work these details out.
Ooh, sorry. Don't let me bother you. I'm only the one you slept with last night. No problem, you know.
The first thing I have to do is make sure the roadies go over every piece of equipment before it's loaded on the truck. We can't afford to have any mistakes once we get to Atlantic City. And I have to arrange for a sound check the afternoon of the show. Oh, make sure you get your stuff fitted at New Gear for the show, all right?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you knew I was here.
You know, I picked those outfits out especially for the gig.
Oh, now you're dressing me. That's real nice. Would you get little sequin things that glow in the dark or something?
Why don't you go down and find out?
Why can't I just wear the things I bought?
Will you trust me?
Trust me, trust me. I'm always saying trust me. That's all you say anymore is trust me.
Not quite. Remember last night?
Why don't you remind me?
I'd rather make you a star.
One thing at a time, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Your career on stage before your career in bed.
Don't I get any say-so? I mean, after all, it is my career. Let's go to bed.
Hey, have I steered you wrong so far?
Yeah, once.
When?
When you kicked me out of bed earlier.
That was for your own good. Just like everything else I do. Including ordering you to go to work. Arm, please. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Whatever you say. Why are you pushing me?
Because you have got the song to write, and I expect to have it in my hands this afternoon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Is it that good, or are you just in a hurry to get to New York?
Both.
When do you leave?
This morning.
How long will you be?
As long as it takes to question this derelict about what he was doing with Campbell's watch.
That's all you've got to go on?
It's our only clue. The guy claims to know nothing about it.
I just want to find out for myself.
If all this happened whilst Dr. Campbell was in the airport, and since he was traveling, did anyone think to look for his luggage?
Well, nothing's turned up so far.
Curious.
A little too mysterious for my liking.
Maybe he just decided to go off on holiday, you know, skiing or something.
And left his watch with some bum for safekeeping?
Maybe he lost it.
What do we got here? I mean, are you trying to talk me out of this case? Whatever happened to the super sleuth that scours the dailies looking for illicit criminal activity in the classifieds?
It's just testing you.
How am I doing?
Well, I'll give you your grades later on once you've decided what happened, if anything did happen, to Dr. Campbell.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm catching the shuttle to New York. I want to find out what this guy was doing with Campbell's watch. Anyway, I'm off.
You take care.
Only way to fly. Look, I'll call you later.
I'll be home later on this afternoon.
What's on your docket for the day anyway?
Exciting stuff. Lunch with Celia at the Floating Rib.
Give her my best.
Oh, Roderick?
Yeah?
What exactly do you think happened to Dr. Campbell?
I don't know. That's what I hope to find out in New York.
Frisco! Sorry to wake you up, buddy.
If it's not 1 or 2 in the morning, you had yourself a long night, huh?
Yeah, a long night. I had a great night.
Yeah. Good thing I didn't wake up for you, huh? Listen, you ought to watch yourself. Performers need all the sleep they can get.
Yeah, who says we have to sleep alone?
It's a lot less complicated.
Not necessarily.
Oh, wait a minute. If you're going to tell me that you and Princess Charming have an understanding, I'm staying in bed.
Well, that's exactly what I tried to get her to do.
I hope you know what you're doing.
What are you talking about, Frisco? Come on.
Just watch yourself. This isn't just the fast lane. This is a space shuttle, man. Rock and roll. It takes you up high and brings you down real quick, you know? The problem is the return flight. You follow me?
No.
You see, if everything was always the way it seems, you wouldn't need lawyers or shrinks.
Or musicians.
Right. Which is where you come in.
I was wondering when I come into this little story.
You are going to get more one-night stands on the road than you'll be able to handle. I mean, it's going to be love with no strings attached, you know, and you'll be able to come and go as you please if that's your style, you know?
I don't know if it's my style yet. I'll tell you when I come back from the road trip.
Then fine. But for right now, why don't you just work on the music? You know, concentrate on getting it all in shape. You ought to get the songs, you got to get the band as tight as possible before we hit the stage in Atlantic City.
Why does everyone tell me to fuck with that? What the hell do you think I'm doing?
No, this is just the beginning, you know? I mean, we're just starting. If we don't pull it out in Atlantic City, they're not going to give us a second look.
We will, don't worry.
We better, you know? Listen, it's like... Let me ask you something, okay?
Yeah.
You think you're any cuter since Sneak Attack came out? I mean, really? Smile brighter? No, not at all. But suddenly, all the teenage girls in America think you are, and they're not the only ones either.
Frisco, what are you talking about?
Just that if you want to put an end to this hero worship stuff real fast, all you got to do is a couple lousy gigs, put out a rotten record, man, you won't be able to buy a girl's smile.
Frisco, that's never going to happen, all right?
Yeah, well, it just might, you know, if you keep fooling around and not making music. Don't forget what brought you here, you know? Don't start coasting. Man, you gotta do it all night. You gotta do it every night, you know? I'm not talking in bed. You're right. Sorry. Do you think I waste a lecture on the wrong stuff? Huh? How's the new song coming?
I'll let you know.
When?
As soon as I finish writing it.
Nice material, huh?
Yeah, very.
Well, how you coming with the loading?
Oh, I'm getting there.
Good. You ever lay any tile before?
No, not by myself, but I did assist Boris on one job. I did pretty well, too.
You like it?
I'll tell you this, it beats the hell out of hauling this stuff all over the site. It is unbelievably hot today.
That's only for someone that works as hard as you do.
Maybe. I'm burning up.
Think you're ready to tackle a tile laying job by yourself?
You offering one?
Well, I'm not talking about it for the moment.
No, I'm not quite ready, but I will be before long.
Well, you let me know.
You think I've got a shot at it?
Well, I wouldn't be discussing it if I didn't. You interested?
You better believe I'm interested.
Good. And the money is sure better than this straight labor, and I'll tell you that.
Oh, now, that's good to hear. I could use that raise. My wife, for one, would be delighted.
Yeah.
Thanks, boss.
You bet.
Here for lunch?
Yes, please.
This way, please. Enjoy your lunch.
Thank you. I wonder what she's doing here. Nothing for us to wonder about. I suppose not. Forget her. So, it's just the two of us, wives on the loose.
As usual.
Mm-hmm. Grant's at work, Robert's in New York, and so here we are, lunching alone.
Are you complaining?
No, I'm just commenting. Do you ever think that maybe we should start families? I mean, having little ones all over the place might keep us occupied.
You've been talking to Robert, haven't you? He put you up to this, right?
What do you mean?
He's been after me to have a baby.
And you're saying no?
I'm saying I would love to. Eventually.
And he doesn't want to wait, right?
I think he just wants to get me out of his hair.
Oh, no, I doubt that.
Don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't want to have children, because I really do. It's just that that's not all I want to do with my life.
I know exactly what you mean. But for Grant and I right now, there's absolutely no choice. I did want to have children before this nightmare descended upon us. But now that our situation has changed so drastically, it's out of the question.
For the time being, though, not forever.
For the foreseeable future. Grant and I are having a hard time affording to take care of ourselves, much less children.
I know it must be really difficult for you and Grant.
It is. It is, Holly. Living this way. But we have each other. Unfortunately, that's all we have.
Do you miss the old days?
Oh, all the time. You?
More and more. You know, I was listening to Robert this morning. He was telling me about Dr. Campbell's disappearance. And as I was listening to him, I was getting more and more interested in what he was saying. I couldn't wait to get involved.
Shades of the dance scam, eh?
Not a chance. It was me who discovered Hannibal operation, so Robert was more or less stuck with me. But he's not going to let me anywhere near the Campbell investigation.
Well, as I see it, there's just one thing you can do. Become a police commissioner.
Just one to a family, I think.
Well, at least he bounces cases off you.
Yeah, but only when he feels like it. Though this morning, He was telling me that Dr. Campbell called the New York City police from the airport, claiming he was being mugged. But when the police got there was no sign of him.
And that's it? That's the last time they've heard from him?
Well, yesterday, the police picked up a vagrant at the airport who was wearing Dr. Campbell's watch. That's why Robert went to New York, to question the man.
This is sounding very creepy.
Yes, you don't have to be a detective to come to that assumption.
Hi.
Hi. I am so glad you called me to meet you for lunch.
Well, I'm so glad that you could make it.
Have you been studying hard?
Jackie, nowadays, studying seems to be all that I do. And what have you been up to?
The usual work.
And what is the latest scoop here in Port Charles?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Nothing exciting happening in town?
Well, there's always something going on, but you gotta dig for it. Let me tell you, my shovel's been doing overtime.
I assume that you've already noticed who else is dining here.
Oh, yes, the Royal Twosome.
A pod?
Oh, Sisters of the Order of the Silver Spoon has what you find in your mouth when you're born.
If you're lucky. Well, I suppose that the commissioner's wife is keeping Celia company while Grant studies for his pre-med exams.
They'd be together anyway. They're good friends, made for each other, you know what I mean?
Well, I have to admit, I do feel sorry for Celia. I can imagine how hard Grant is working. I'm doing the same thing myself.
How's it coming?
Slowly but surely. Tremendous amount of work, I'll tell you that. It's remarkable how much you can forget in 8 years' time.
I can imagine.
I wonder, what deep, dark mystery our commissioner is investigating these days.
I could care less.
Crime doesn't sell papers anymore?
I'm a reporter, not a saleswoman.
Still, you do have to give the people what they want.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know that Scorpio took off for New York City this morning.
Is it so? Well, tell me now, how did you find that out?
Well, I worked the police beat, and, oh, another thing, in fact, he called and had them hold the 11 o'clock shuttle. He must have been in a real hurry.
Why?
I have no idea.
Well, that's a first.
What?
You're not knowing what's going on in Port Charles. I'm amazed. You always do your homework so thoroughly.
Well, most of the time. I am a good reporter.
Yeah.
Been told so.
Oh. By whom?
A few people here and there.
Just how good?
Good enough to beat any other reporter out on a job.
What kind of a job?
Any story you want to give me.
All right. For example, could you find out why the commissioner left for New York City this morning?
Easy. I can find out anything about him or anybody else for that matter. Are you all right?
Yes. Yes, it's just that, forget it, Jackie.
You know, Grant, you seem really anxious. Why?
Hi. Hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Not at all. I'm glad you dropped by.
So, how are we coming with preparations for Atlantic City?
Oh, pretty well. Before I forget, make sure you go down to New Gear and get your outfit fitted.
Oh, yeah, Blackie, he mentioned that to me. I think he's heading over there this afternoon.
Oh, you spoke to him this morning?
A little while ago. Why?
Oh, no reason. I just wondered if he was working on a song or not.
Go slow with Blackie, okay? I mean, be real careful.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, I just don't want to see the kid get hurt, that's all.
Him? Or you?
What?
You're not worried about Blackie, are you? You're just jealous.
Will you cut it out? I mean, why is it every time that I suggest that you take it easy on him, you think I'm getting jealous?
Well, aren't you?
Hardly. Did it ever occur to you that that I might actually be thinking of somebody other than myself for a change?
Frankly, no.
Thanks very much.
Oh, would you lighten up? You know, you act like I'm leading Blackie down the road to destruction.
Well, it so happens I just can't see that far, not quite. But I don't like the way you two are headed.
Well, wherever I go, you go with me. Believe me, as far as Blackie's concerned, I only have his best interests at heart, even at the expense of my own.
You can take care of yourself, so can I. Blackie, I'm not so sure about.
Well, hey, I can handle Blackie.
That's what worries me.
I've been down this road before. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know. But there's Blackie.
Oh.
And that's it?
All we've got.
Not much to go on.
If we hadn't gotten that call from the airport, we wouldn't even be looking for him now.
So all we know is that Campbell may have been mugged at the airport.
At least he called saying that he'd been attacked.
Or someone else called claiming to be him.
How would someone do that?
I don't know. Just trying to cover all the bases.
Fair enough. When our men arrived, he was gone.
And none of the other travelers reported seeing or hearing anything unusual?
Nobody we talked to.
What do you do now?
Well, we've got the airport going through all the unmarked and unclaimed baggage. If they open everything they've got, something might turn up.
Better. And otherwise, we'd have to sit around here and wait for some other clue to manifest itself.
Well, here's the one we've got. Campbell's watch. Doesn't tell us much.
Tells me where to start.
Eddie?
Yeah. I'd like to have a talk to this vagrant of yours. Maybe I can loosen his memory a little bit.
Can't hurt to try. I'll have him brought right up.
Andrew. Bill, give me a hand for a minute. Some of these boxes are more than this old back and handle without a little help.
All right. Got it.
That is strange. So far, no one has any idea what happened to Dr. Campbell, if anything did happen.
First, the man questions me about Grant Putnam for book he's writing, and then poof, he disappears.
In all the time that you spent with him, did he mention any friends or business associates that he might be visiting in New York City?
No, not that I can remember. Grant, my Grant, talked to him for a while, and maybe he remembers a name or two if it was dropped. I don't know, I'll ask him.
I may ask him myself.
You know, actually, he's the one you should be asking.
Grant Putnam.
He could be very helpful. After all, he was one of Dr. Campbell's patients.
Robert's already spoken to him.
He didn't know anything?
He's as mystified as the rest of us.
Well, then, I really don't know where to start.
Neither does Robert.
Will there be anything else? Not for the moment, thank you.
Grant, you haven't answered me. Why are you so anxious?
Ever since my illness, I get these sudden anxiety attacks. I get so wound up, and there doesn't seem to be anything that I can do to stop it.
Have you seen a doctor about this?
No. I've had enough of doctors. Thank you.
You should do something.
I've decided the best thing for me to do is just ignore it. The less I think about it, the better off I am.
I don't know, but, I mean, if you think you're sure...
I know. Now, let's talk about you.
No, it's a boring subject.
Oh, it certainly is not. I'm fascinated by you and the work that you do. I don't know if you realize this, but I once wanted to be a reporter myself.
Come on, you.
I am serious. I used to dream about it all the time. The whole notion seems so romantic to me.
Let me guess, foreign correspondent?
Exactly. I'm also intrigued, however, by the local version. The idea of searching for facts. It's almost like doing detective work.
Except for the reporters track down stories, not criminals.
Tell me, how do you go about it?
Well, I mean, every story is different. You know, you have to try a new approach every time.
All right, here's a for instance. You mentioned earlier that, in fact, you boasted earlier that you could find out why Commissioner Scorpio made his trip to New York City this morning.
It wasn't a boast. I mean, if I wanted to find out, I could.
Could you really?
Yeah.
See, I have no idea how you'd go about doing something like that.
Just takes training.
And a great deal of luck.
No, I think you're wrong there. I don't think luck has anything to do with it.
Well, I'm not so sure.
I can prove it.
How?
I bet you I can find out what Scorpio's doing in New York City. And I'll tell you the truth. I actually am a little bit curious myself, because there could be a story in it. You never know.
All right, Miss Templeton.
Mr. Putnam.
I will wager you $20 that you can't find out why he made his trip.
You've got yourself a bet, Mr. Putnam. Might as well pay up now. Save you the time, trouble.
Why don't we do this? We'll hold off on my paying up until...
By lunch. No.
Why don't you prove that you're as good as you say you are first?
It's going to be no problem, because I told you before. I can find out anything about him or anybody else, for that matter. Grant, are you sure you're all right?
I'm just fine.
You don't seem fine.